Thanks for hopping on. We'll see you in a little bit. But here's Trey for you. We're ready for you.
All right, you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Trey, you got me?
Got you.
Cool. Well, just a couple quick things. One, what was the first impression of the playbook? And then two, what kind of relationship did you gather with when you're working with Brandon Ayuk last week?
Oh yeah, playbook was fun. I've been looking forward to learning a new playbook, and obviously it's an NFL playbook, so it's going to be a lot. But for me, I've been waiting to learn a new playbook for the last 7-8 months. So it was a ton of fun to finally be able to get into it. And me and Brandon, got to work together down in Orange County a little bit last week, and it was cool just getting to meet my teammates. It's been one thing that I've been looking forward to, like I said, for the last 6-7 months. So it was awesome to be able to get a little bit of working with him and get to know him a little bit.
One playbook follow-up. How are you guys sort of attacking it this week? How is the rookie class getting into the playbook, taking that kind of first chunk for this mini camp?
Yeah, obviously this is my first time in the NFL, so I would assume that it's pretty typical as far as how we're going about it. Obviously, COVID and everything changes it a little bit, but as far as, like you said, just taking that first chunk, and I think that's what we're doing, just trying to get better day by day.
Hey, Trey, Kyle told us that when you came out here a couple weeks ago after the draft, one of the first things he warned you about was the prices of the Bay Area and some of that stuff. I'm wondering what your impressions were once you kind of took a dive into that and just your initial impressions overall of the Bay.
Yeah, I definitely appreciated the warning. I knew it would be kind of crazy, but it definitely helped to give me a little bit of a heads up. But yeah, super excited to get more familiar with the area. Obviously, we're locked in right now with rookie minicamp and everything like that, but hopefully over the next few weeks, getting to know the guys better that have been here in the area and getting to hang out with them and spend some time with them. And like I said, check out the area. Definitely looking forward to it.
Trey, this is Chris Biederman with the Sacramento Bee. I'm curious about your choice to major in strategic communication. What drew you to that? And is there a possibility that, did you look forward and say, hey, I might be an NFL quarterback and maybe this could help me when I reach that level?
For me, strategic communications at North Dakota State is a real broad field. So I was doing that and as well as business administration. So for me, I didn't really know what my plan B was going to be at the time, but knew I needed to obviously, do well in school. It was important to me, important to my family. So for me, it was, I thought an avenue for me to kind of figure out what I do really want to do, past football.
Hey, excuse me, there's been talk about, obviously North Dakota State's success with the quarterbacks and the pro-style offense that really does help prepare you all for the NFL. Obviously, that's what you know. You can't compare it to playing an air raid system. But just your initial glance at the playbook, do you say like, hey, there's some wrinkles here? I'm not suggesting it's like, hey, it's like North Dakota State all over again. But, do you see wrinkles or concepts or anything else that might be at least a little familiar?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's with any offense. Football is football. Like I said, it's an NFL playbook, so it's a lot, and I got a lot to learn for sure. But I also have great people around me, great coaches, and obviously great guys in the quarterback room. So just looking forward to, like I said, learning from them as much as I possibly can, and very thankful for the people at North Dakota State and my coaching staff and the offenses that we ran, because I think it did help me, whether it was just verbiage or like you said, concepts. It's putting guys in spots at the end of the day.
Trey, I have two completely unrelated questions. One is, what's your connection to Santa Clara women's soccer? And then the other one is, since you've gotten here to Santa Clara, did you know any of the rookies that are coming around? Did you meet them in the past? Do you have relationships with them? And what's that process been like for you guys to kind of bond as this 2021 rookie class?
Santa Clara women's soccer, one of my quarterback trainers, Quincy Avery, is good friends with their head coach. So he reached out to me, and I had watched it honestly previously just by chance, just turning on the TV on ESPN Plus, and had seen their game against Clemson, and was super excited obviously for them and their big win last night against UNC as well was exciting. And then what was your other question again? I'm sorry. What was it? Do you remember? Sorry, got it muted.
Did you know any of the rookies?
Oh, yeah, I got
the fellow
you.
rookies coming in, and have you bonded? And what are the relationships like at this early stage?
Yeah, it's been really cool to get to know the other guys. Trey Sermon is a guy that I knew. We trained together in Pensacola pre-draft for a few months, so he is a guy that I had gotten to know, gotten to hang out with. Other than that, I hadn't met any of them, personally. Austin Watkins was a guy that I'd watched a ton of film on because he played, obviously UAB, played a couple teams that I played, so I had seen him play a good amount watching opposing teams' defenses. So he was another guy that I was obviously super excited about.
Hey, Trey, obviously you're about to hit the field and going to have 3 of these practices, I guess. Has Shanahan or any of the offensive coaches told you what they want from you? Like, don't do this or hold back, don't try to prove everything. What are they telling you about what they want to see from you in this minicamp?
Just excited to see what I can do, excited to learn. Obviously, they have trust in me, believe in me, otherwise I wouldn't be here. So I'm just super thankful, like I said, for the position that I'm in and to be able to be here. And, all the coaches that you mentioned, our whole offensive staff is really special. So I'm looking forward to just getting out there and competing and hopefully learning as much as I possibly can.
Trey, how much of the playbook would you say you've learned at this point? And is there a section of it, some concepts, some plays that have been tailored to your specific skill set?
I don't really have, I guess, a percentage for you right now. But I think like I said, taking it day by day with first chunk for rookie minicamp and getting as comfortable with that chunk as I possibly can. And like I said, man, our coaching staff is awesome. Our quarterback room is awesome. So me being able to just ask as many questions as I possibly can to those guys has been a huge benefit for me.
Hey, Trey, but both you and Jimmy are Walter Payton Award winners. I'm wondering, is there any kind of sense of connection there, both coming from the FCS, and how has that progressed? I know that he texted you after you were drafted, but how has that relationship progressed since then?
Yeah, I got to meet him over the last couple of days, which is awesome. Him and the rest of the quarterbacks in the room, and they're awesome. They're just awesome personalities, awesome guys to hang around, and obviously great football players. So I'm just thankful that these guys are the guys that they are. And yeah, Jimmy actually said that in his first text to me. Just it's going to be awesome to have another FCS guy in the room. So he's another guy that's obviously been in a similar position to me, having been where I am. So just looking forward to learning as much as I can from him, and like I said, all the rest of the guys in the room.
Hey, Trey, Anthony Flores with NBC Bay Area. I have 2 quick ones. I see you have the shirt on. Just wondering if you put the jersey on and what that moment was like for you.
Yeah, we had a walkthrough, so I wore my practice jersey a little bit ago. It's pretty cool. Obviously, I think I'm kind of gotten past the point where it's surreal. It's work now. So it was probably cooler the day after the draft and draft day and everything like that. Right now, it's my job, so I'm excited to get to work.
From what I understand, at North Dakota State, you began your career wearing gloves, which was evidently a no-no. And also, can you discuss, is it true that you could not wear sleeves as a freshman, even in December in Fargo?
Yeah, I'm sure Easton told you that. But yeah, North Dakota State, I wore gloves actually in high school when I played quarterback. And it was, half the weather, half me having to change footballs, when we got to playoffs and things like that, just weird rules in Minnesota with sponsorships and things. And yeah, North Dakota State, your freshman year, your first year on campus, whether you're a 5th year grad transfer or whatever it is, your first year on campus, yeah, you're not allowed to wear sleeves, no leggings. So you're out there suffering, practicing in blizzards and everything like that, and it's just the way it is. If you try to come out in sleeves, the seniors will definitely rip your sleeves off with no hesitation. So I mean, it's one of those things, kind of an initiation, earning respect, but everyone's got to go through it regardless of who you are.
We'll do the last 2 for Trey.
Trey, just a question about the 3D QB school in Southern California. There was a question about why you started working with them when you did, and I'm just wondering, when you were working down there with John Beck and those guys, I mean, there's a bit of a Kyle Shanahan connection there. Just seeing whether you were looking at the offense, studying their specific types of plays, that sort of thing, as far back as March and early April.
Before the draft, it was obviously focusing on me, focusing on my pro days. I didn't know where I was going to be, so it wouldn't have been a whole lot of benefit for me to try to learn an offense that I didn't know if I was going to play in or not. But the last few weeks obviously has been awesome. Like I said, with this coaching staff, with John and those guys down there, knowing the offense and having the connections that they do, just super thankful for them and everything they've done for me.
The last one.
Hey Trey, happy belated birthday, by the way.
Appreciate it.
With this being a rookie camp, mini camp, you're a bunch of first-year players. Would you describe yourself as like a vocal leader, a rah-rah guy? And then my second question would be, did you beat Ayuk in a race?
We didn't race, but yeah, I'm super excited to work with these guys. Obviously, as my position playing quarterback, I want to be a leader for these guys and be someone that they can lean on, they can ask questions to, regardless of what it is. So I'm just super looking forward to kind of having our group of guys, those rookies coming in, those first year guys, and being able to hopefully lead them and help them out and get us going in the right direction.
All right, thank you guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Hey guys, we got Aaron here for you.
Hi, Aaron. Just wondering what your interaction with Mike McGlinchey has been. I know that he works out down there, and whether you've discussed the prospect of having a all Notre Dame right side of the 49ers line there.
We've stayed in contact over the years, so nothing has changed too much. Of course, talking a little bit more now that we're, potentially playing next to each other. But no, he's been extremely helpful and has been answering any questions that I've had for him, so.
Aaron, as a guy who is from the area here, how much easier has it maybe made this transition for you to the NFL? And also, have you found your teammates, especially the rookie teammates, asking you things about, cost of living and some of the things that are going on out here?
It's definitely made the transition very easy. I didn't have to travel very far. After the draft, I just came down the road, so it was really nice. And I actually haven't gotten too many questions about life in the Bay Area yet. We actually haven't been together really. We've been a little bit separate, the rookie class, just because COVID protocols. So.
Aaron, obviously a lot's been made about your size relative to the guards that Kyle Shanahan has had in the past. Just curious, is there a plan for, where they want your weight to be? And just how do you, are there things that you want to do to increase mobility potentially to maybe, get outside on some of those outside zone runs and things like that?
He picked me having a plan. He drafted me, and I know he has a plan. So whatever they tell me to do, I'm just gonna do it. If they tell me when they tell me I need to drop weight, I'm gonna drop weight. And whatever the strength staff and nutrition staff puts out for me, I'm gonna take it head on.
Aaron, what has getting to meet all the rookies for the first time has what's that process been like to get to know? I'm sure some guys you already know a little bit and other guys you don't, but what's that process been like? And have you and Trey Lance had an opportunity to sit down and talk yet?
We haven't sat down and talked, but we've talked passing by and had a couple conversations here and there. But yeah, it feels like I am a freshman in college again. So just getting to know my class and the guys who are here. So I'm really looking forward to getting the chance to really hang out with those guys.
Hey, Aaron, obviously Quentin Nelson saw a lot of immediate success as a guard in the NFL coming out of Notre Dame. I know you briefly overlapped with him. Have you spoken with him? Has he given you any advice since the draft? And even if not, how much did you pick up from his game while you were developing in Notre Dame?
Yeah, I actually would watch a lot of tape of Quentin and just how he plays. I personally think that he was the best guard in the NFL in the past few years. So I'd watch a lot of his stuff in the NFL, and when he was in college, certain parts of his game I would try to emulate my game after.
Aaron, Mike talked about it a little bit, but being home is pretty cool. But there's also the side that you've got a lot of people around that if you were somewhere else you wouldn't have to worry about. How do you see yourself managing that, and do you feel like that's a little bit of pressure, having to be responsible and maybe tell some people no?
I mean, I haven't thought twice about it. When I can help some of my family, I will. But if I can't, then I'm going to say no. So I don't think that has been on my mind at all. I've been focused on this minicamp.
2 more, please.
How intimidating is the size of the playbook, and do they throw it to you all at once, or do they teach it to you in chunks or stages?
So we had a pretty big playbook at Notre Dame. I think that they did a great job of preparing us for the playbooks to this caliber. So I don't think that anything that has been given to me has been anything that I've looked at and thought, man, like that's too much. I'm gonna have a hard time learning that.
Aaron, you spoke about emulating Quentin Nelson. Is there anybody else that you watch or that you just watch coming up that you've always watched, just like you, who reminds you of yourself or that you try to be like?
There's not too many people that I would try to be like. Of course, like I see good players and try to adapt certain things they do with their hands or how they approach certain blocks. But all in all, I'm nobody but myself. So I'm gonna approach everything as Aaron Banks and try to be the best me I can be.
Thank you, Aaron. All right, everybody. Got Trey Sermon here. We're ready to go if you guys are ready.
Trey, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, thanks. My name is Matt Mayock from NBC Sports Bay Area, and Trey Lance was just talking about how he knew you through the draft lead-up, working out in Florida. What's been your impression of Trey Lance? And when you were drafted to the 49ers, how long did it take for you to kind of sink in and go, oh my gosh, we're going to be teammates?
I mean, he's a good dude, and I know he's a hard worker. I mean, again, just from training with him back in Pensacola at Exos, I mean, I seen from then how hard he works, and I mean, he just tried to be the best he can be. And when I got that call, I mean, I was excited. I was like, I mean, I was training with this guy back in Florida, and now we're going to be on the same team. So, I mean, it was definitely a good feeling.
Trey, in terms of playbooks, I know that you've had to come in and digest 2 probably significant ones in recent years. Just looking at the 49ers from the get-go, any thoughts about it, how much it differs from what you've done at Oklahoma, Ohio State? What are your first impressions?
I mean, that it hasn't been too difficult. I mean, just making the transition. I mean, some of the stuff is similar to what I did at Ohio State. So, I mean, I feel like my acclimation will be, pretty smooth, and it'll be good.
Hi, Trey. Your running backs coach from Ohio State, Tony Alford, has talked about his good relationship with Bobby Turner and how Bobby's influenced him, and he was really excited about you getting to go play for Bobby Turner now. So what are your initial thoughts about working with Bobby?
I'm excited to work with him. Throughout the draft process, we talked a lot. He's going to coach me hard. He's going to laugh and joke with me, and he's going to bring the best out of me.
Hey, Trey, what's your first impression of Kyle Shanahan? Is he different than other coaches you've had in the past?
My first impression, from what I've seen, I've known that he was a great coach, a great offensive-minded coach, and just being around him earlier today at walkthroughs, he seems very detailed, and I feel like that's how you got to be, especially as a head coach. So I'm definitely looking forward to continue to learn under him as well.
This is to clarify something that you said. You told us right after you were drafted, but I think you said that when you were transitioning from Oklahoma to Ohio State, you watched 49ers film or 49ers offense because they ran a similar outside zone scheme to Ohio State. Is that right? And can you kind of go into detail on what you looked at, if that is correct?
Yes, when I was making that transition to Ohio State, and I'm just looking at a lot of outside zone, the 49ers were definitely one of the teams that I looked at. And really just going through the progressions and the reads, because I knew when I got to Ohio State we were going to run a lot of that. And just seeing that this was one of the teams that ran it just as much too, I definitely looked at it as well.
Do two more for Trey.
Hey, Trey, what was it like just going out on that field for the first time in walkthroughs today? And then just have you had any contact with the other running backs that have been here over the years?
It was a great feeling. Just getting back out on the field. Just being around the other guys as well, just getting around the coaches. Getting coached up through walkthrough. It was a good feeling, and I'm glad to be out there. And yes, I have talked to some of the other running backs. All the vets, they reached out, and I'll talk with Elijah a bunch too. We're both just trying to get up to speed and just make each other better.
Tony Alford explained your leadership as a guy that's not really a rah-rah, break down the huddle type, but who'll give feedback, just after the play and make things more relatable to what for the players. Do you think that'll be something that'll help carry over in the NFL? And how do you think splitting carries in Oklahoma and Ohio State will help you with the 49ers? Because that's something that they do as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I feel like just the type of person I am. Again, I'm not the big speech guy, but just far as just understanding what I have to do. Just trying to help my teammates and again just make each other better. That's really what I'm all about. And what was the second question again? I forgot.
So you split carries at Oklahoma and Ohio State, and that's something the 49ers do as well. Do you think that'll be, an easier adjustment for you?
Yeah, it'll definitely be an easy adjustment. Just splitting carries throughout my career, I've gotten used to it. So, just making this transition here, I know, we rotate backs a lot, and it's part of the game plan. So, it won't be nothing new for me.
The last one for Chris. Go ahead.
Trey, just curious what your impressions are of Raheem Mostert, and just given, you guys seem to have complementary skill sets, just what about the running back room and those complementary skill sets specifically excites you?
Just, for instance, how he plays the game. He has great speed, great acceleration, and, he can catch well out the backfield, which is, a lot of things we got in common. As far as just running routes, catching. Again, I feel like we definitely be able to complement each other well.
All right. Thank you, guys. Hang tight.
No problem.
biggest thing for you is just coming in, learning, you know, absorbing as much as you can, you know.
Yeah.
But otherwise.
Hi, Alfredo.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good, good.
The 49ers put out a video, I think, of Adam Peters calling you up and telling you that you'd be coming in. And I noticed that there was another very large man congratulating you in that video. I was wondering if that was your dad and whether he also has a background in football.
Yeah, that was my dad, but some people say that he can be another football player because he's 6'8" too. Well, I'm 6'9", he's 6'8". But yeah, that person was my dad, my mentor, my main guy.
Alfredo, this is Matt Mayoko from NBC Sports Bay Area. Congratulations.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What was this process like to be in that pool of international players, and how did it go about that the 49ers were the team that got you? What was that? How much interaction did you have with the 49ers before that became official?
Well, in the international player pathway, they do the job really well. They don't tell us nothing till the last day because they want to make us, we are concentrated 100% of getting better or learning the football and be as good as any other player in the coming up draft, which was this draft. So we prepare 100%, and at the end, I have the call from the 49ers, and I'm glad that the things went like that.
Hola Alfredo, ¿qué tal? Mayra Gómez de Máximo Avance para la Ciudad de México, para todo México. Bienvenido, antes que nada, al área de la Bahía y muchas felicidades en tu contratación con el equipo de los 49ers. ¿Nos podrías describir un poco lo que ha sido las últimas 24, 48 horas? ¿Qué sentiste a ver al Levi Stadium, tu nueva casa? Y por supuesto, ¿has tenido la oportunidad de conocer a tus novatos, a tus compañeros?
Hola Mayra, ¿qué tal? Bueno, mucho gusto. La verdad que ha sido algo de ensueño de película desde que llegué y vi el estadio. Hasta le tomé un video porque no me lo podía creer que estaba aquí. Al momento de entrar al locker y todo eso me impresionó bastante el saber que ya estaba siendo parte de una gran organización como es la de 49ers. Y todos mis compañeros me han recibido muy bien, lo que es los rookies ahorita. Me llevo muy bien con todos ellos, ya empecé a entablar más plática con todos y muy contento, la verdad, de poder estar aquí.
Alfredo, this is Cam Inman of the Mercury News. Sorry, you just answered this question, but you played high school football in San Diego, correct? Can you just catch us up on what you did in high school and what that experience was like?
Oh yeah, that's a short story because I was making a immigration status. I had to play in San Diego, which was one of the best years of my life. I had to play 2 years in San Diego, and I had great friends from there. But the circumstances of life happened to put me back in Monterrey and study there and play there. But again, life put me back in the United States and close to home, which is San Francisco, so I'm happy.
Alfredo, just due to your size, was football a natural thing for you to do? I mean, would you have maybe initially preferred another sport, but it's just like, no, it's like I'm going to be 6'9" and over 300 pounds?
Well, from being Mexican, you play soccer, that's your first sport, right? And I was the fat little boy that was goalie and defender. But now, during my 12 to 15, I started growing up fast, and I knew I could play football. So I started playing football in Tijuana. Then when I moved to San Diego, the coaches told me that if I put the amount of weight and then the amount of hours in the gym, I could possibly have a D1 scholarship. So I started liking more football and then so on. So I think since then, I thought football was going to be a good possibility to play in the professional league.
Do the last one for Alfredo.
I have to ask then, what kind of goalie were you? You seem like you could have been a pretty intimidating goalie.
I was the one of yelling at everybody and stealing the lunch for the defenders too.
All right. We'll do Mayoko last one.
Hey, Alfredo, let's talk about you as a football player. What makes you a good fit for the 49ers offense, and what are your goals for this season?
Well, my goals are to learn the most I can. I have so many great, talented offensive linemen in front of me, and even the rookies are so talented. So my goals are to prepare the most I can, learn the most I can, and just keep learning, keep trying to learn. And my goals are being on the team and prepare. You know, when the opportunity comes, be prepared.
All right. Thank you, guys.